Hey guys, DIY Maniac here. In today's video, I'm going to go over how to sharpen and balance your lawnmower cutting blades. As you can see here, here's one of my blades. I have two 22-inch blades on my riding mower. You guys with push mowers are going to have one. So I want to go over the first steps we need to do and why we do them. So tools of choice I use when sharpening and cleaning my blades is first an angle grinder with a flap disc. This is an 80 grit disc I use, and a hand file, which is here. It's not an aggressive cut file, so it'll give us a nice sharp edge. Now we have to remember, yes, we want to sharpen our lawnmower blade, but we don't want to make it a razor blade. And why not? We got to think of our cutting edge. If that cutting edge becomes so sharp that it's thin, that makes it brittle. And you hit the littlest rock, it's going to chip and you're going to have problems. Now, they say we should be sharpening our blades at least once a month during the cutting season. Even more if you're hitting some rocks. As soon as you hit a rock, you're supposed to take it off and sharpen it. Now, that's not practical, especially for us guys with riding mowers. It's definitely not practical. So I only do it once a season. And I'm guilty because halfway during the season, I started seeing some split ends on my grass. When I was making my cut on the tips of the grass were split, that was telling me I didn't have a sharp edge. So what I like to do is sharpen and balance. Now you might be saying, why are we balancing lawnmower blade? It's actually very important. Let's think about it. This blade is underneath our mower deck and it's spinning at a high speed. If it's on a push mower, it's being driven directly off of the motor. If it's on a riding mower, it's being connected to spindles, which are belt driven. Now think of it like a car tire. If it's not balanced, what happens? It vibrates, it wobbles. That's going to put added strain either on the mower of the push mower, the motor of the push mower, or our spindles on our mower decks for riding mowers. So we want to make sure that's nice and balanced, and that way it also decreases vibration. Less noise, less vibration, just easier on the equipment and less chance of damage. So before getting started, what I like to do is clean the blade thoroughly. So I'll take my flap wheel. First I'll take my blade and I'll put it in here. Now, like I said, I have two blades because I have a size of my riding mower. So therefore I have 4 total cutting edges I need to sharpen. 2 per blade. So I lock the blade into my vise. Safety goggles is a must. I take my grinder with my flap disc and I'm going to clean not only the cutting edge of the blade, but I'm also going to clean the top surfaces. This way it'll ensure that I get a true balance and that any dirt, rust, corrosion, grime is not throwing off the result I'm getting on my balancing. And we're going to go over the balancing technique I use a little later in the video. So let's go through this and we'll do a quick clean. So you kind of get the idea of how I'm using the angle grinder to do the cleaning. So I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to clean up the rest of the blade because you want to clean both sides. And we're going to come right back and I'll show you then the sharpening of the blade. So hold on, guys. So we're back. I finished cleaning up the blade as I initially showed using the angle grinder and the flap wheel. And you could see that any surface, there's still a bit of surface corrosion, but any dirt and grime and rust been taken off. I also took the flap wheel and cleaned up the cutting edge as well. So here you can see the edge unsharpened. I don't know how well we're going to see this. You can see there's a few little rock chips in it. Might be more on the other side for you guys to see. No, not really. It's actually not in bad shape. Let me turn off this light. Maybe we'll see a little more. Yeah, there we go. So we can see, the edge isn't Nice and true, has some chipping in it. So I'm going to now demonstrate how I sharpen using the hand file. So we put our blade back into our vise, secure it. We're going to take our hand file and we're going to use both hands. Now on a blade, new out of the box, has a cutting angle. It's the angle of the blade, and you want to make sure you follow that angle. Now that could become problematic if you're not sharpening properly from day one, because you'll lose the angle to follow. I'm hoping and I'm thinking I'm doing it right every year. This will be the third time I'm sharpening these, third year, that the angle still has the factory angle on it. I just need to follow the same way. So you're going to take your hand file and you're going to put it onto the cutting edge of the blade, find the angle so it sits flat, and you're going to pull down, put a little bit of pressure with one hand on the file itself, the other hand is holding the handle, and you're going to do fine strokes and full strokes through the cutting edge, keeping that angle. It's very important. And we're going to work our way all the way through the edge itself. Do multiple passes on a certain area. If you see there's some chipping, see, now I'm going to stop. I'm going to inspect the blade. I see we have still some little divots into it that I want to work out. Like I said, we're not looking for a razor blade. Then what I like to do is take my file onto the leading edge of the blade, the cutting edge, and comes a little bit almost straight down, and that's just to remove any burrs. I'm also going to take my flat wheel after very lightly and clean it up. I don't want to, when I go with the flat wheel a second time, it's not to remove any kind of metal, it's just basically to clean off any burrs. So I'm going to inspect my cutting edge, and I can see there's still some areas that need some work. So I'm going to continue working it. Now, how do you know when it's perfect? Couldn't tell you, because I don't know if it's perfect either. But I'm hoping it is. When I do it every year, it seems to cut my grass perfectly fine for most of the season. Now you have to ask yourself, if you guys are using push mowers, should you bother even doing this for the cost of a replacement blade? Now I have two of them. They're a larger blade. I think it's anywhere from $30 each, so it's $60. So I don't want to have to be changing them every year. Now if you got a smaller push mower with, say, an 18-inch blade, $20 a blade, you might want to say to yourself, you know what, instead of going through all this time and hassle, why don't I just change it? Or bring the blade to your local hardware store, or your guy who drives around in his truck sharpening knives, and he'll sharpen it for you. Now, whether or not he's doing it properly, I can't say for sure. And also at your local big box stores, you could buy a special drill attachment that goes on your drill that'll sharpen the blade. And I think it even has the angle of repose set into the grinding stone, so when you come over it, it'll keep that same angle. So I'm going to come straight down again. It's not really straight down, it's still at an angle. It's just to remove any of those little burrs that I created. And I'm going to check it. And that looks pretty good, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it. I'm going to bring it over to the camera to show you guys. And I'll turn off the light. I think that light's interfering more than anything. And you can see that cutting edge. It's a little bit crisper and cleaner. Like I said, it's not sharp. I don't want it paper thin like a razor blade, or it's just going to chip much easier. As you can see right there. So now I want to go over the step of how to balance the blade. So let's see if I can remove some stuff out of the way here so you guys can see better. I'm going to show you what I do. So to balance the blade, what we're going to do is you're going to take any surface in, say, your garage. As you can see here, I have a post in my garage where I hang my axes. And on there, you could put a screw or a nail, and you're going to hang your blade from there. But you want to make sure it's hanging in the center. If you see on this blade, it has the little diamond pattern that fits over the spindle to make sure it's locked in place. And it actually has a center point notch. So I could put that right on that screw. Now you want to make sure that the blade's not pushed up against the wood. You want nothing restricting it, just sitting on the screw. And you want to watch it. Now what we're looking for is we're looking to see if the blade is unbalanced. If it were unbalanced, we would actually be leaning to one side, and that would be our heavy side. So what will we do then? We need to remove weight from that side in order to counter the balance. So where can you remove weight? Well, you can continue filing and sharpening your blade, but if you already reached a point where you're happy with it, you don't want to file it anymore, let's not do it then. We don't want to disrupt our edge that we just created. Remove metal from anywhere else. Grind the surface of the blade with your flat disc or your hand file, and just get it to where it's balanced. And as you can see, it's balanced. I've had them where they're pretty bad. I've had it actually where it's leaning down like that. So yeah, you want to get it in there. I mean, listen guys, you don't have to put a level on it. You don't have to go overly anal with it, but you want to make sure it's there and you're not creating any unnecessary vibration in the mower. I don't know, well, I hope you guys are seeing it okay. So you can see there, it's sitting pretty much exactly where I want it. So that demonstrates how we go about sharpening, cleaning, balancing our mower blade. I'm not going to show you how I reinstall it onto the deck. If you watch my other video, which is either coming out before this one or after, it's where I recondition my mower deck, sanding it and painting it, and I'm showing how everything gets reinstalled. So you'll see there, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's a nut, a washer. You know, you're just going to look on your particular mower, and if you're like me and you like to follow torque specs, find out what the torque spec is for that center nut, and make sure you're torquing it on properly. Or you could do like most people and just take an impact and zip it on. It's up to you. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave comments below if you have any questions, or if you have even recommendations for me. I know I'm not perfect at everything, and maybe I'm doing this wrong, and I would like to hear your suggestions on maybe how I could do it better. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and keep your eyes open. There'll be more videos coming. Thank you very much.